So pretty nice to have you here at the Klassik Open Air in Hanover. And you'll be performing tomorrow with a wonderful repertoire. And I was just wondering, how do you rate the importance of these Klassik Open Air events? And what do you like most about them?
Well, thank you so much for having me. It's my first time in Hanover, and I love the city so much, and I love the people. I'm so looking forward for the concert. We are all, with my colleagues, have prepared a wonderful program, some of the well-known classics, but also some of the pieces that we enjoy singing very, very much. And singing outdoor for a singer is something very, very challenging, but the sound, the sound engineers who are working with the sound really make it feel like we are indoors. So it's really absolutely amazing feeling.
All right, and what will the audience expect tomorrow? What repertoire? And is there a certain aria which you love to perform best?
Well, the fact that I'm able to just share my voice and my gift, every performance and every aria I get to do is my favorite. The program is very vast, and I have really the pleasure of incredible flexibility. So we have Mozart, we have Puccini, and we have Rossini and Verdi. And of course, it's such a pleasure for me to be able to sing this vast repertoire of some of my favorite pieces as well with my colleagues.
All right, sounds beautiful. So going a little bit back into when you started off with opera singing, because I've read that you had a teacher telling you that you shouldn't pursue a career in opera singing, but you proved otherwise. You became a well-known opera singer. So what made you still decide to go for this profession even though you were told off?
It was the feeling it gave me. I felt like if somebody can teach me, I can do it, remembering that my grandmother taught me how to sing. And so I just could not believe that I couldn't be taught. And that love, that joy that was beyond what I knew, what I was accustomed to, was so powerful that when I was pretty determined little lady. So that determination and willpower could not let me just give up, because the feeling was so immense that I felt like I needed to share it with as many people as possible. And I'm so grateful, because that means I believed even if my mind, my intellect wasn't really accustomed to. And so I had to work very hard, of course, and I had to study a lot, but I'm grateful that the gift was inside, so it wouldn't let me give up.
That's good.
It is.
It's brilliant to have you here.
I'm so happy. I'm so happy.
Stubborn enough
Yes.
to keep on that path.
Absolutely.
Actually.
And I can't imagine my life without music. I was very determined. I was good in school. I could have probably succeeded with other careers. I wanted to be an accountant. But the fullness of joy and the wealth that I have in my life through music is worth every zeros in the bank that I might have made as an accountant.
I do understand that completely. So, since you're living the drama on the stage, is there sometimes this danger to have like a misbalance between vocal technique and emotional depth?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I find it more because one of the things that I was taught in South Africa was through my mentors. They told me about different kinds of art making. There are singers who are able to really be cold in the head and just do it perfectly, mathematically, scientifically, everything perfect. And then there are singers who might not have such perfection, but they are able to touch the soul. So there's really a thin line, and I've always wanted to be that person who is able to communicate beyond the black and white notes, something that when we are done, when the evening is done after the performance, your life is enriched more. That fullness of joy that I felt with the music at the beginning is something that I was able to share with you. And then somehow we make the world a better place, because then we are better people, hopefully. We are more kinder to each other, we are more patient with one another, understanding. Our homes are much more peaceful, and just that transformation of goodness. It's something that I hope when I get to sing, I get to that place where my soul and yours are able to share in that virtue, because otherwise this music is soul food, and it's ours to share in it and make our lives that much lighter.
Right, definitely it does. But is there really a danger that you could emotionally overstep the line?
Absolutely. I have overstepped many times. Whereas if I'm in the rehearsal room, I'm thinking here, like calculating and downloading and making sure everything is perfect. But when I'm on stage, I'm not here, I'm in the heart.
Okay.
And the heart is full, the heart is raw, and the heart is real, it is honest, it is authentic, it doesn't construct, it is just being. And so that sense of being, it breaks laws of perfection. And so when I look back at the performances, sometimes I'm like, oh no, in the rehearsal room I did it well, I was perfect. But in the moment, because I need to listen to the heart, and it's in the heart, and I have to have peace with that. I had to have peace with that. That maybe even if the whole phrase was not perfect, but in that phrase, when the heart spoke, yours received. And that's the gift that probably will not make critical acclaim that one is a perfect singer, but the impact, that fellowship of impact happened in that phrase where I thought was terrible perfection was, but it spoke. And so I have to have peace with that.
Absolutely. And forget about critical acclaim, because I mean, what is a perfect voice without emotions?
Exactly.
You nailed it, basically.
It's like an empty tin making a lot of noise, unpleasant noise sometimes.
So, as you're living the drama on stage, does this somehow impact on your personal life, or do you always leave the drama back on stage?
It's a very thin line, and I don't think it is talked about enough, that sometimes, most times as artists, we don't know for sure whether we'll leave the drama on the stage. But it affects our emotions. We play people who don't have bodies. We give them bodies, and we give them access to emotions. And we embody those emotions. So sometimes the line can be crossed when you play a character and somehow, even if you had great success, but somehow you feel a bit of a certain way. So I'm grateful that my Pretty Army hashtag is always there to let Pretty come back to herself and not be stuck in that personage that I was playing on stage. And I didn't know this was happening. Sometimes it takes another person who's like, I know Pretty, that's not Pretty. She needs to find herself back. So to detox from the character's emotions, it's a very, very thin line, and sometimes one is not able to see it and recognize it unless you have people around you who will always bring you back to self.
Okay, all right. So you have a good friendship base, like people around you who help you basically come back from your character on stage.
Absolutely, absolutely. Because I play mostly. I noticed when I play maybe comic roles that I become more happy. Like literally, I am a happy person, but when I play dramatic roles and people who die on stage, I become more sad, I become more complex. And so I then knew that I need to have some sort of emotional detox, because it's not easy always to see if I'm still having my own feelings as a full human being who experiences life like any other human being, or it's added with the characters that I play on stage.
Okay. And being an opera singer nowadays not only requires like stage presence, but also requires to be present on the platforms of social media. What is your approach to that?
So my approach to social media started when I left South Africa. Firstly, I had no idea what I was dreaming. Looking back, probably I would decide otherwise, because it's a very, 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 very hard life. So there's not enough encouragement. There's always asking and demand, and it's never enough, from the artists. So I would look at quotes, that would encourage me, and then I would share them on my social medias as a way of encouraging myself. But then it ended up being an encouragement to the people that were following my pages. So I loved that. So my approach on social media was always not to show the perfect pretty, because the perfect pretty does not exist. The perfection is in the being. The perfection is going through all the emotions and being real about them, but still having the line to keep your privacy. But also my biggest wish was for all the people who love me and follow me on social media to know that I am not perfect. I still go through life experiences, and to share that. That is why it is not planned. It doesn't look like most of my colleagues' social media. I'm trying to be as real as possible and not to only show the best of me. In fact, sometimes I get into trouble of sharing. They're like, oh, Pretty, maybe you shouldn't share that. And then I get messages, thank you so much for sharing that, because nobody's talking about it. So my approach is there. It's just to share every part of my journey as authentic as possible, but still keeping the privacy, that anyone deserves.
It sounds like a real good balance. Wonderful.
Thank you.
And can you tell me about your most touching stage experience or venue which was really special to you?
Well, I lost my mom last year, and it was very, very hard to sing. And I remember coming back, I sang La Sonambula, and she always talks about her mom in heaven. So it was very, very, very tough, but also very encouraging, because I am an honest, I think I like to be an honest artist and not try to be too strong when I don't feel like I'm strong, or I really try to be as authentic as possible. So when I sang that Sonambula, it was different than other Sonambulas that I had done in the past. And just the growth of life, something shifted in me, and that I appreciate very much. And I'm so grateful for my mom, because she was there from the very, very beginning. And I was hoping that she was going to live more to see more. But unfortunately, such is life. So my life has not been the same ever since she's left. And so I'm hoping that as I go through the grief process and learning, I become a stronger person, and and grow more.
Okay. And do you have any future aspirations as in new roles, repertoire, or even opera houses?
Absolutely. The question of me at the beginning was, can I do this? Well, now it's been proven now and again that I am really doing it. And now, from this next season of my life, is how I would like it to be done. And so finding the balance more, and enjoying the growth, and exploring more growth on stage with different repertoire. And the voice has grown quite a lot, and maturing still, because the voice is like a person who grows and changes every day. And the person really inspires the voice into how it develops. So I have quite a few new roles coming up that I'm very excited for. And the pinnacle of my bel canto repertoire would be one day to sing Norma. I would love to sing Norma one day. I've had one of my favorite goals in the bel canto repertoire. I sang my first queen, Maria Stuarda, in San Carlo in Napoli. And that was really a long-term dream, and I'm grateful for. And Anna Bolena is coming as well. And then in Verdi is also coming quite a few roles. I'll be debuting Il Trovatore soon, and some other very interesting Puccini. I will do my first Mimi in a year or two as well. So it's lunchtime on the Pretty Journey hashtag.
Wow, but this really sounds like a very thrilling journey.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I couldn't have come so far on my own. I stand on many, many strong shoulders who are keeping me strong and keeping me grounded, because it's quite an extraordinary life. And I was never prepared for it. I had no idea I could dream so big. But I'm grateful for each and every help from people that know me personally and people who know me from afar, and yet they can tell when I'm not okay, and they would write to me, "Don't give up, we see you. Don't give up, we love you. Don't give up," you know. And I appreciate that so much, because when I'm on stage, I stand with thousands, with legions of people who just want me to do well and enjoy this extraordinary life. And the sharing with each and every audience becomes so personal for me and intimate in that sense, that even if we are performing and you want to do well, but not forget that we are sharing something so special together. And I should always be reminded that me and you, we love music, and that's it.
Perfect. This could already be final words, but I still have one more question for you.
Okay.
So really, in a few words, what for you, Pretty, makes the magic of opera? What is so beautiful about this art form?
I believe it is supernatural, because even if we don't know the story of the opera, we don't speak the language of the opera, but the fellowship that happens, it feels like it's thousands of people, but it's very intimate. You can have a very different experience in that same concert, and that is something that I treasure so much. It's really divine. It's really something that is absolutely extraordinary, and I'm so grateful to be part of it, because you can sing the same aria for the same audience, but it will never be heard or perceived the same way. It's like it has a momentum of its own. It has a purpose of its own, depending on your heart and depending on my deliverance at the time. What you're going through, I don't know, but it's really beyond what we can touch and feel, and yet we know it. There's a fellowship that happens, and I'm grateful for that. And I think that's what makes it always new, never boring, because each and every gift, each and every talent brings newness of it. And that's why we can listen to Maria Callas or any of the other composers' music and artists, and still, when you hear it, it's new somehow. And so it's always new. So that is the beauty of it.
Wonderful. So thank you very much, Pretty, for your time. And I wish you toi 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 for tomorrow's performance, and that you enjoy your stay here in Hanover.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate it, and I'm looking forward to be sharing my joy with Hanover.
Perfect. Thank you.